Hello again. Welcome back to another quick tutorial on Project Dog Waffle on this beautiful Christmas day, December 25, 2014. In fact, let me show you how I got to this picture, because this is a new collection of images that we are releasing today. And we have on the main website, we have, of course, also this little image here, modeled by and rendered by Michel Agudot, a French artist who has donated a number of his renderings as PNG images or brush media images for us in Dog Waffle. And you can also use them if you use Photoshop, Art Rage, Artweaver, tons of others, GIMP, and so on. These are generic, many of them, not all of them, but quite a number of them are in generic PNG image format. So what we'll do is we'll see how to get to them. Go to the Howler section, go to Download, or you could go directly here at the top of the browser to Howler Download. And once you're there, you'll see a section here for free Toon sticker brushes. Batch number 5 is here. That's actually as of yesterday, and as of today we also have batch number 6. So what you can see here is that we have a collection of images. The latest one right here, batch number 6, contains this image amongst others. There's a total of 36 images, and this Santa sleigh with a couple of the reindeers is included in there. And in fact, when you click on the contact sheet that you see here, you can see what each of these images look like. A lot of funny characters, vegetables and fruits, and there's a couple of animals, race cars, dragons, and Santa's sleigh, choo-choo trains, flowers, and so on. Nice little tree house, panda bear, birdies, horses, everything really fun stuff. So that continues the collection that we've had. So what we have now is a collection of 36 images here that we want to see, and what we'll do is we'll download it. So simply click on this, and in fact what you could do is save it and then open or unzip it, and then you'll have that folder. Or if you just want to see them, you can just open them directly in Windows Explorer, and here they are. And you could at that point go and explore it and see those images. But the problem right now is they're still in that zip archive, and it won't show you their content. Right? You can change the display. It's not going to show you the icons. You need to first provide that password. So for instance, if you open one of them, let's say the one here, Le Traîneau, that's the sleigh. Double click that, it's going to ask you for the password, and the unzip key is ho ho ho, H-O-H-O-H-O. And there you are, and you see the background is black because it's irrelevant. It's actually rendered with transparent background. The color is black, but you won't see that when you use it with that alpha channel being there. Now if you were to just copy that, let's say out of your AirFun View session, the alpha channel would be copied if you copied it to the clipboard. So you really want to save this image, export it to save it into a folder where you can then start navigating through them and use them in Dog Waffle or other paint programs. So here we go. I've now opened a folder in which I saved these images. I'm going to grab that path, because that's going to be handy when we want to quickly navigate to it from Dog Waffle. So I'm going to launch Dog Waffle here, or PD Howler 9.5. This will work with many other versions as well. If you have PD Artist, earlier versions of PD Howler, PD Pro, Project Dog Waffle 2, version 1, the old free version, any of these, and of course also Photoshop, Art Rage, Artweaver, many of these, as long as you can load an image that's in PNG format, you should be fine. So let's go and do that. If I open the image, and I'm going to provide the path right here, that will take me straight to that folder, and at this point I'm going to grab Santa right here. Now when I load Santa, it puts it in a new image, and it looks a bit odd. Right? You might say, well, what's this thing here? It's all white around it, and what's the background is so odd. Well, that's intentional. The thing is, we don't care so much about the background, given that it's going to be transparent. How do we know or recognize that it is transparent? Well, if we load it in some other programs, you might see it on top of another layer. We did not load this into a new layer, so this is the only thing we have here right now. But one thing you can do is go to the selection and enable the alpha on. That's where you'll see the marching ants. So if you see some selections here now around these cartoon characters, that's indicating probably we have an alpha channel here. Another way you can show that is right here under overlay alpha. Everything that's turned pink is essentially not selected by the alpha channel, and that's where the selection mask is keeping it transparent. Another way to see that is to actually save that or store the alpha in a separate placeholder. Go do that, and now you see the selection mask that we have here for the sleigh with Santa. So that selection mask came from loading that file. The PNG file has not just the colors you see, but also a selection mask. And indeed, when you look at this here, wherever it's white, it's going to show the color as is. Wherever it's black, it's going to hide whatever that color is. So it doesn't matter whether it's a white background or this odd colored background there, it's not going to be visible. Now another thing we want to do is really load this into the brush. If you already loaded it like this here, you could actually go and simply pick it up, or even do this here, go to the brush and say use selected as brush, right? Do that, and now you have it in a brush. It's not fully opaque. Let's go change the opacity on my brush right there. Now we have it. So now as a brush image, you can stamp it down wherever you want. You can have a rally of Santa sleighs. You can also do this in a couple of other ways. Let me undo this here until we are back to this level. Minimize or stop the preview of the brush. And what I'd like to do is store this image. So that's under the image, store image copy. So here we have a copy of this image, but it's not only stored the image, it also has stored the alpha. Now when we the way we usually use this is, let's say we create a new image in which we want to create some artwork. Let's say this one here, and in this image we're going to say let's put this one. When you just click it, it will take it here, justify it or squeeze it to the upper left corner, and if it fits, it fits. If it's too big, you'll see a portion of it. If it's smaller, you'll see everything. Of course, you might want to do other things like clicking here on this little pull down triangle there, and or actually on the bar altogether, and there you'll be able to say, well, let's center it instead. There it is. Or let's scale it to fit. There it is. But now it is squeezed because the aspect ratio is not the same. There's a couple of other things, and one thing we can do also is replace alpha. There, so you see the alpha channel was actually stored in here, and it's able to replace it there. And if we click this here, it fits right in there too. So what we have stored here is the complete image, right? The RGB and alpha, and that's what came from the PNG file. Now we can also load this directly into the brush when you go to the brush menu, right? When you go to the brush menu like this, and we are in the same folder, and we can see this particular item, or maybe I'll load a different one. Let's take the choo-choo train this time, and now we have the choo-choo train in the brush. We loaded it. Nothing changed on our image here because we loaded it straight to the brush from that brush menu. Once we've loaded it into the brush, it's what we call a custom brush, and you can actually see it up here in the upper right corner under the previews. Click that plus sign if you see it for the previews, and that will show you a snapshot of your current image, a snapshot of your current paper texture, and a snapshot of your current what is that? Oh, this one is the brush. Sorry, this one here is the current image that you see here, and this one here is the current brush image. Right. So that's you can also now go and store and manage a copy of this, and there you go. So here's the choo-choo train. Let's go and clear the image. Let's go and clear the selection or the alpha. Let's go select this brush, and also another thing is this sleigh that we had stored here. We can turn that into a brush from the stored copy. Right, we can use it as a brush with the alpha. Right, so now at this point we have this thing back into a nice brush, and we can go and store it as a brush. So we now have two images as two brushes stored. So let's go and bring this to a little bit bigger image. Let's go make maybe the default 1024 by 768 or even bigger. There you go, something like that. And I'm going to quickly create a background that I want to use for the choo-choo train and for Santa. And of course that background is going to need some mountains with snow. So let's go and quickly create, let's see, what was it, render some plasma noise. Before we do that, let's go and give it a basic valley. So I'm going to go to the linear gradient tool here and do something like this, and then also change the mode to a multiply mode, so we can do a little bit more on this side and even on this side. All right, so now we can go to the render, and this is all stuff that we've seen many times in the River Canyon tutorials. All right, so in the plasma noise that we are about to render, we're going to switch from opaque mode to difference mode. That way we can see sort of the canyon going through here. Let's make it a little bit bigger on number 8 there on the slider. Something like that might be interesting. Let's go and grab that. Store this image because it's a good milestone reached, and let's see what we want to do next, and that's of course to go to the transform and 3D designer, and there we go. We have the basis of our mountain here. Adjust the height, change the background color to kind of a bluish, almost white background. Enable ray traced shadows. Let's bring the light source down. Let's make it far away, increase the intensity. Bring it down from a different angle, like anything from the side is good, left side, right side. You don't want it head on like this. That's not gonna, well, I mean, in some cases you do, but most of the time you're not gonna see much shadows, and so it looks a bit flat. So give it a side for that. Let's give it a little bit of ambient light, like so. What else do we need? We need erosion. So let's go open the more button here and add some erosion, and then also add some sediment deposits. Let's make sure the sediments are actually showing snow. Now we need to create a texture for that first, and there we go. And then bring the snow caps down and reduce the green parts in the valley, and sediments should be snow colored. It's all snow. Just make the snow even whiter. It's got a little bit of a bluish tint up first. There you go. And I think at this point we can go and render that background. Let's or perhaps give it a little bit more of a nice view. Let's see, do we want a wide angle view or something like that? Perhaps some ambient occlusion for the dark sides, but not multiply mode. Let's make it additive mode. That will reveal some of the shaded parts even better. Or we can saturate it a little bit, give it too much light and make it really bright. Lots of different ways to explore that. Let's see, fog. We didn't give it the ground fog yet. Let's enable the ground fog and give it a little bit of that, and also the distance fog, not too much, something like that, and perhaps some clouds. What clouds do we want? Something like this. There. And then change our angle to a little bit more of a side view. Whoa, that's close. Let's make sure we get this thing, these clouds farther into the distance, and something like this. Fog, distance fog is too intense. Let's reduce this a little bit. And actually I like this almost parallel projection here, not too much perspective. And then we'll go and make it a little bit bigger. Let's scale it this way, but especially sideways, so we reach the edge of our image. And there you go. So somewhere in the foreground we'll need a choo-choo train that's partly, not really on that terrain, but appears to be like right in the foreground, and then in the back we'll see Santa. Alright, let's see if we perhaps want to reduce the brightness of some of these clouds a little bit more. And let's see, what do we do for the position of them? And last chance to change the angle of the lighting. Let's see where we get. Oh, I like this one here. There. Some nice glow here. Let's give it a little bit of specular light too. Specular, reduce the hardness, and there you go. So that'll give us some nice view there. All right, I think we have our main image. Let's go render that. Let's give it a good quality here. Why not? And render that at level 5 of anti-aliasing. And so a portion of the terrain is missing here in the upper right, so in the lower right, so that's probably where we'll have our choo-choo train appear. And that's the choo-choo train here. Let's go enable the preview. Let's go store the image too, just in case we mess it up. So here's the stored image, and we know we can get back to that quite easily. So now we can put the choo-choo train here somewhere. Maybe we need to rotate it a little bit or flip it sideways. So let's go to brush, flip, horizontal. It's pointing the other way. Let's store that. Brush, store, and now we have it look the other way. This one we might not need anymore, but let's keep it handy nonetheless. Let's put it down there. This one here we might want to have at a slightly different angle. I don't know, maybe it's going still uphill. So first of all, we need it a little bit smaller, and then we need it also at a slightly different angle, kind of going uphill, like so. There you go. Let's put them down there. And then another thing, maybe the background needs to be a little bit, I don't know, blurry. So let's go and undo this quickly, and then apply a filter for just a tiny simple blur, something like that. That might not be enough. Let's go and apply maybe a bokeh blur, bokeh, lots of bokeh. There you go. And now we can have the choo-choo train really take the attention away here. Boom. Maybe have a whole chain of them coming through here, and then of course there's more magic happening because Santa is flying through the skies too. So let's grab Santa here and perhaps give him a little tilt. Let's say going uphill is always more fun, and there you go. All right, well, that hopefully gives you some idea of lots of fun you can have creating your own Christmas cards or birthday cards or whatever you have when you start using these images that are now available for free download. Thanks for watching.